Hi everyone. The McDonald's case study. This is with a pretty good multinational company and franchise business model also. Today I'm going to discuss about the McDonald's case study regarding the how it impact on the multinational company. As a multinational company, what is the impact of McDonald's? McDonald's is a very well-known global brand. It is the world's largest restaurant chain selling range of fast food products. Right? You can see that every country there are McDonald's are there. If I say every country they operate under, they are giving the franchise license to one of the big company in those local country, and then they're operating under those like licenses. So this is the world's largest restaurant chain selling range of fast food products such as hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken nuggets, cheeseburgers, french fries, soft drinks, coffee, and milkshakes. The box below gives some key facts about the chain. You can see McDonald's key facts. It has around 34,000 outlets worldwide, right? It employs around 1.8 million people. That is, there are 1.8 million people, employees are there. And it has outlets over 100 countries. Even in India, where the most people do not eat beef or pork, there are about 180 restaurants. So they have, even though you can see like they are normally McDonald's, they are selling everything. Therefore, so they exclude the beef and pork, but they have their own, sometimes veggie burgers are there. Sometimes in India they call it Maharaja's burger, or sometimes Mac, Mac veg, paneer and salsa, like that. Different combination, local tastes also. There are local ingredients they are going to add it to them, and then so therefore a lot of people are use this restaurant for their dining thing. It is estimated that each day, over 60 million people worldwide purchasing something from McDonald's. Like Coca-Cola, they're selling about 2 billion bottles per day, something like that. So each day, 60 million people actually they are visiting to their one of the all the restaurants in the world. Around 60 million, roughly, rough idea. You can see they are 60 million multiplied by sometimes they are spending more than $1. So definitely their income will be billions per day. So they sell more than 75 types of hamburgers per second. So they get 75 hamburgers per second. So they calculate this one. So every second at this moment also they are selling 75 hamburgers from somewhere in the world. And this moment also they are selling. That means they are divided by all the number of hamburgers. They are the total sales divided by the number of seconds per day. 24 hours, they are divided by the 24 hours, convert into seconds, and then they find out that every second they can sell 75 hamburgers. And also McDonald's has employed around the world, around one of the 8 workers in the USA. That is, McDonald's has employed around 1 in 8 workers in the USA, 1/8. It's a huge employer actually, and the significant proportion of McDonald's outlets, that means within brackets 70% in the UK, are franchises. Right, significant proportion of the McDonald's outlets are 70% in the UK are franchises. In other countries also, if you talk about the Sri Lankan context, Sri Lankan McDonald's actually operate through the Abans company, Abans PLC. It has operated under the licenses are given to Abans, and then they operate the McDonald's restaurants island-wide. Operate like that's a way multinational, and sometimes they're using franchise licensing also in order to enter into some countries. Okay. Although McDonald's already has huge global presence, it still wants to keep growing. In 2016, it was reported that the company planned to open 1,250 more outlets in China. This would make China the second largest market after the USA. And there were also plans to open 250 more restaurants in Hong Kong and South Korea. So more than 1,000 restaurants in China, about 250 restaurants in Hong Kong and South Korea. That is, they wanted to increase their presence in Asian countries, more towards Asian countries. So McDonald's is looking to franchise most of its Asian stores and hopes that 95% of its outlets will operate as franchises in the future. That's their main agreements. It's easy for them because in franchise model, actually, they don't need to all the responsibility of the business actually goes towards the franchisee. So as a franchise, so it's very easy for them to actually operate under licensing. So all the McDonald's helps to create employment as it expands global operations. The giant multinationals has been the target of the criticism over the years. right? So always there is a good side as well as bad sides. Now we're going to talk about the bad side of the McDonald's for the world. So this giant multinational has been target of criticisms over the years. Recently, it has been attacked for paying its workers low wages. Sometimes we could call it Mac jobs. The McDonald's jobs called Mac jobs sometimes. The main criticism is they are paying low wages for their workers, their crew members, their waiters, their managers, comparatively low wages. In 2014, it was reported that thousands of fast food workers around the world stopped work or held protest against McDonald's and other fast food suppliers. Employee actions has been ongoing since 2012 in the USA, where workers are demanding $15 per hour pay rates and the right to join a trade union. Indeed, around 200 workers went on a strike in New York. Also in Brazil, McDonald's has encountered the trade union protest because of wage theft, poverty level pay, and the poor treatment of pregnant workers. It's most towards mainly not like environmentally, mainly towards the employee, like exploitation of the labor conflicts only they have mentioned mainly. So you can see unfair treatment for the pregnant workers, unfair treatment for the payment of low wages, like they are demanding $15 per hour. USA. So these things are the mainly they're protesting in those time. About 200 workers went on a strike on New York, also in Brazil. Also, they encountered the union protesting regarding these malpractices. So as a result, what happened? The protest against McDonald's took place in Japan also, and also South Korea and Brazil in 2014. The South Korean labor leader, the Cheong Ok-soon, said that, quoted, everywhere you go in the world, fast food workers are suffering with low wages, long hours, and unstable employment. They can't live a normal life under the working conditions they face now. So they have no option but fight in solidarity, unquote. So like that, you can see this statement says the poor lifestyle of the fast food workers, because they are getting low wages, long hours they have to work. So while they are working, they can't even sit, because they are waiting in a queue. A lot of customers are waiting. So how can you sit and how can you work leisurely? You can't do like that because there are so many. It's always busy. People are coming and they're asking food. So they're preparing everything, cleaning. So always you're busy and you're working. So sometimes very difficult conditions are there. And also payment also not enough. That's the thing. So according to this leader, you can see is no option but fight in solidarity. Solidarity means alone, like a kind of not like a union. You have to fight alone. So say the loyalty and general agreement between all the people in the group or between the different groups, because they all have a shared solidarity. So loyalty and a general agreement between all the people in a group or between different groups, because they all have a shared day. That is, you have to fight. But the moral here is actually they say you have to stand as a team, as a group, and then only you can win your employee rights. However, McDonald's claims that it was pays above the legal minimum wage. The McDonald's sides, they say no, they're paying above the minimum legal, because they're every country we call minimum legal payment, like MWP, minimum wage is there. So they say we are paying above that. So we legal minimum wage is like this, so we are paying above that, no problem. For example, a report of the US in 2015 said that the 1st of July, the starting wage will be the $1 above the local legal minimum. Starting wage will be the $1 above the local minimum. But McDonald also said that all employees up to restaurant managers will receive a pay rise. In addition, the company claimed that there would be other perks for employees. Perks mean, other facilities, other fringe benefits that you're receiving other than the salary. Okay, the perks, that are meaning of the perks. For example, McDonald would provide financial help to employees who attend classes to obtain high school diploma and assist with college credits and other tuition. Because you can see most of the times in McDonald's, the restaurants, the people who are working are like colleagues, like the school, like high school students, sometimes university students. These are most of the time, mostly young crowd who sometimes currently working as part-time jobs, taking part-time jobs or some shift works in the McDonald's. They're saying, okay, we are helping them out. They're giving some financial help for their employees who attend their classes to get their tuition, like to finish their high school diploma, like that, so on. And finally, the company said that it would provide free language classes for non-English speaking employees. There are so many non-English speaking employees are there who come from, say, Hong Kong, China, Vietnam, India. I can see there are non-English speaking employees are there. So they are giving some kind of a free language classes to move up with them, because always English language is really important when you're working in the international multinational company. So correctly, yeah, mainly, yeah. So every country you have, actually, a lot of people are working in McDonald's. McDonald's is a quite actually simple job to find, because you can find this job easily, with the recommendation of someone. You can join, and if you know the English, you can work and you can find some kind of pocket money for you while working in McDonald's. Some of that they call it Mac jobs, right? Yeah. So in 2015, McDonald's reported a profit of US dollar 1,310 million. So 1,310 million means, you can see the US dollar, that is 13 billion US dollar, or US dollar 1.40 a share of from the US dollar 1,070 million, or US dollar 1.09 share the previous year. Sales revenue was US dollar 6,620 million. So the sales value, you can see that is, you can see that if you divide it into the million figures, the profit is 1,310 million, and that is increased from the 1,070, right? So you can see 1,070 to 1,310 profit increase. And also sales revenue also like that. Sales revenue in that particular year 6,620, which means this is 66 billion, right? So like that, so billions of money they are earning, and also profit also improving. So the main essence of this case study, you can see they're talking about how McDonald's actually exploiting the laborers, and they actually some issues, their conflicts actually regarding their salary is very low, and they are working long hours, and working conditions are like that, very difficult. And also people who are working in the McDonald's, they are facing some kind of a problem, especially pregnant workers, mistreatment and all that things. And what they actually normally they are arguing that they are paying a legal minimum wage, above the minimum wage they are paying, like that's the main thing. But with the conditions actually, so many countries, and also they are giving some financial benefits, like perks for the people, like educated the students who are working there to find their tuition fees, extra credits in high school, like that. So they are helping them out in different way. And also they are telling that they are giving some kind of free language classes for the non-English speaking students to increase their knowledge, like that. These are the things, like a small pros and cons. Both sides are there, advantage, disadvantages. So mainly this actually case study mainly looking at the employee side of the country, like employment and the employment issues, and how they react with the employment issues, everything. It's not the environmental impact, and not the social impact, and not the other business related impacts. So these are mainly they are giving the issues regarding the employment. They're asking 4 questions. First question asking, suggest 2 features of a multinational. Two features of multinational. Use this case study as an example, right? 2 features of multinationals. We know that mainly economies of scale, and operating in more than 2 countries, large numbers of employment. We have so many examples are there. In this case, so many data we can actually related to this situation. They are operating, I think, more than 100 countries. Then about 2.1 million workers, employees all around the world. So these are the main features of multinational company. We'll see the sample answer too. Second question asking, McDonald's has become the multinational through effective marketing. McDonald's has become a multinational through effective marketing. What does this mean? Yes, as a global marketing, global company, they have to do marketing and promotion, because since it's a restaurant, fast food restaurants, marketing is really important for attract customers into the restaurants. Therefore, they become a multinational through effective marketing. Yes, because multinational also help them out to get the more consumers. Third question asking, what are the benefits of McDonald's as operating as a multinational company? You 2 benefits of analysis. I think we talk about the 5 benefits. Now you can actually avoid the trade barriers, you can get more reputation. It's a fast method of growth, these things. And also final question they're asking, assess question. I would like to convert it to 12 marker, evaluate question, assess the benefits to a country or economy when McDonald's locate outlets in that country. So this case, you can see assess the benefits, assess the impact. So two advantages and disadvantages we can find out with the by taking McDonald's into their country. Okay, we'll see what are the model answers says this case study. First question they're asking, suggest 2 features of a multinational. 2 features of multinational uses case study. The McDonald's is a giant multinational. It has operations in over 1,100 different countries, employing about 1.8 million people globally. So it has huge assets and turnover. For example, it's their turnover, that their sales revenue is 6,620 million US dollars in 2015. So when you're defining, you're explaining the features, then you have to always give the numbers and the example from the case study, like 100 countries employing 1.8 million workers, and their revenue is 6,620 million revenue, like that. Okay, the second question asking, McDonald's has become a multinational through effective marketing. Through effective marketing, what does this mean? Right. So this question, Gianna, can you read the answer?
Some businesses become multinationals by relying on effective marketing. McDonald's is a classic example. McDonald's is a low-tech firm that developed a highly successful brand in the US and then exploited it globally. McDonald's does face
they probably mainly they faces fierce competition. High competition, right? McDonald's face fierce competition, means very high competition they are facing from other restaurants are there. Even Sri Lanka also we can see, right? McDonald's, KFC, Wendy burgers and everything, right? Okay, continue.
Competition from KFC, Wendy burger and other fast food outlets all over the world. For example, however, McDonald's has probably protected its brand name with patents and uses heavy advertising and innovate marketing to attract customers. Most people will have seen McDonald's adverts on television, for example.
Yes. So mainly these are the main, they're asking what are the main reasons why McDonald's there's a effective marketing. They say McDonald's has become multinational through effective marketing. The meaning is there. It's a classic example because they have you can see low tech firm and develop a high successful and brand, because it is not that much high technological company. This is mainly burger company, right? So McDonald's burgers and they are French fries, they are fast food outlets. So they're highly successful. How this success came? Because there are so many other competition is out there, right? You can see Pizza Hut is there, KFC is there, Wendy's burgers, and Subway, so many, Domino's, so many fast food franchises are there. But how then actually they become successful? Because of the marketing. So we have to give some kind of credit for the marketing, because without marketing you cannot be stand out of the competition. That's why they probably protected their brand name with patents, with the use of heavy advertising and innovative marketing to attract customers. In Sri Lanka also we have McDonald's, that much of advertisements are there. McDonald's, like Sri Lankan versions are Mac rice is there, because Sri Lanka is a rice and curry country, rice eating nation. So our staple food is rice and curry. So therefore McDonald's they introduce, okay, here rice and curry, Mac rice. But if you go to USA, you can find the Mac rice. Here you go with their US culture, right? If you go to India, you can find the Mac. They don't call McDonald's the Big Mac. They call Maharaja's burger. Same Big Mac, but they call Maharaja's burger. Right? If you go to the Japan with the McDonald's, you can get some green tea, a coffee or tea. Mainly it was Japanese culture, is a tea culture. So therefore, they are giving green tea along with the burgers or milkshake. But if other countries, they are always giving with the Big Mac, they are giving a Fanta or Coca-Cola or Sprite or something or smoothie or something. So always, that's why according to the culture, according to the nation, according to the country, they actually change their strategies, their marketing strategies. That's why they say through effective marketing only they become successful. Because when you go to one country, you have to adapt to that country's culture, right? if country, for example, in India, so they treated the cow as a god in Hinduism. So therefore, the beef burger is not available. But some restaurant they have the beef burgers, but mainly they have other substitute versions are there, right? The chicken versions and other vegetarian, because a lot of Indians are vegetarians, so veg burgers are there. Like that, they marketing strategies they have created to become successful, and especially advertisement on television. All right, the third question, they're asking what are the benefits of McDonald's of operating as a multinational company. So give two benefits in your analysis, right? Sean, can you read that part?
Yes, McDonald's, like all multinationals, has access to a much wider market than companies that focus entirely on domestic markets. McDonald's has around 34,000 outlets around the world and in over 100 countries. Even in India, where most people don't eat beef or pork, there are about 180 restaurants. It is reckoned that each day over 60 million people worldwide purchase something from McDonald's. It is also estimated that they sell more than 75 hamburgers per second. Multinationals can boost their sales revenues by selling to global markets. This will also help to increase profits and win market share from competitors. Also, since multinationals are large companies, they can exploit economies of scale and enjoy low costs. McDonald's can buy resources at lower prices and borrow money at cheaper rates. For example, reducing costs will help them gain a competitive advantage and put pressure on their rivals.
Okay, so now they are, thank you. So mainly the two benefits they are mentioning, operating as a multinational, what are the benefits to McDonald's, right? Not for the country. So this case they are giving two benefits mainly. You can access to wider market, right? You can access to wide, that's a main advantage. And in this entire paragraph, they actually giving supportive answers, supportive sentences, supportive point for this. How you can access to wider market. They're giving example from the case. They have 34,000 outlets worldwide, selling 100 countries. In only India, they have about 180 restaurants. So people do not eat beef, pork, but and they are giving more. Furthermore, this evidence they are providing from the supportive evidence from the case study to say that they have a high access to wider market. And they say about 60 million people daily they are visiting their restaurants, and then every second they are selling 75 hamburgers every second, right? So which will help them to boost the sales revenue by selling global market. And also this will leads to helps to increase the profit to win market share from the competitors, like that. So that is how we are explaining one point, right? This question I can convert to like analyze question, analyze two benefits to McDonald's of operating as a multinational. So this case you don't talk about the country level, talk about the company level. They can access to high market share. They have operating like this much of restaurants in India. They're operating this much of the organization. They have this much of revenue they are earning, this much of customers they are visiting to restaurant, like that. So you can say. And also second benefit they are talking about, because since they are large companies, they can exploit economies of scale and enjoy lower cost. They can enjoy economies of scale and they can reduce their cost. So as a result, what happened? McDonald's can buy resources at lower prices and they can borrow money at cheaper rates because of that. Because economies of scale concept mean like the low cost. The similar term for economies of scale mean lowering average cost. Because large companies they can reduce their cost. Cost savings are there when operating at large scale. Some cost savings can become, for example, transport costs can be reduced, marketing costs can be reduced, and purchasing benefits are there. When you're purchasing bulk, you can get the discounts, like purchasing economies of scale, like that. There are certain economies of scale or cost benefits coming for the large organizations than small one. So this is they can exploit. For example, they're giving when you actually like financial economies of scale, that when you want to actually go for like a bank loan, you want to buy resources at lower prices and borrow money at cheaper rates from banks and all. For example, reducing cost will help them to gain so what happened as a result, by reducing cost, they can gain a competitive advantage and put pressure on the rival. That's why small business, if you start a small restaurant which sells burger and everything, you can't have that big cost benefits that McDonald's actually has. So, for example, if you buy something from supermarket, they are not giving any discount. But for McDonald's, since they are purchasing large bulk items, their cost of production, the per kilo or per items, the cost is very low. They are giving it a wholesale price. But if you are a small scale restaurant, you are buying at a retail price. So that cost benefits are there for large organization. As a result, they can have a competitive advantage over rivals, right? Okay, the last question, the question number 4, they're asking assess the benefits to a country or economy when McDonald's locates outlet in the country. So this case, when you're answering, so this question should be come as a like a 12-mark question, as evaluate question, evaluate the benefits to a country when McDonald's locate outlets in the country. Right? Okay, this question I'll invite Mohammed. Can you read the answer? Mohammed Kader.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you read the question number 4 answer?
When a multinational like McDonald's locates operations in a foreign country, that country and its economy is likely to enjoy a number of benefits. These include an increase in income and employment. Multinationals create new jobs in developing countries. For example, McDonald's employs over 1.8 million people all over the world. Local suppliers are also likely to get some work when a McDonald's outlet is opened. The extra output.
Yeah, so mainly the first paragraph, mentioned that mainly they can actually operating in a large scale, they can enjoy number of benefits. For example, they can income and employment of the country. They can increase the income and the employment opportunities of the country. That's the first paragraph they mentioned. So normally when you're writing, you can actually start with the definition of multinational and then go to the advantages, two advantages and two disadvantages and the conclusion. This case, first point they are giving, the country will get more employment opportunities. For example, they employ 1.8 million people all over the world. Employment, job opportunities, because then the people lifestyle will be set. They will get the monthly salary. Then therefore they will not poverty level will go down because they have monthly income. So people will be not suffer that much because they have a monthly fixed income coming by employing at McDonald's. So likely to get some work when McDonald's outlet is open. That's the thing. When the new outlet comes, then they can about like 10 to 20 job opportunities are rising at every outlet. Right. Okay, continue. Yeah, Mohammed, you can continue. Oh, Dinel, I invite Dinel for this case. Can you continue this one? And employment?
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
And employment generated by multinationals such as McDonald's will increase economic growth and raise living standards for people in these countries. Another benefit they might provide is income for the government. This is because profits made by multinationals are taxed by the host nation. This increases tax revenue for the government in that country, and this can be used to improve government services such as healthcare, roads, and other infrastructure. In some cases, multinationals provide training, work experience for workers in less developed countries. Also, governments in less developed countries often spend more on education to help attract multinationals. This has happened in India, where the government invested heavily in IT, education, and training. In the case of McDonald's, it is likely that training would be given to all of its employees before they began work. The arrival of multinationals like McDonald's has encouraged more people to set up a business in some countries. Multinationals may provide the skills and motivation needed for an enterprise. For example, a new multinational may encourage locals to supply services such as transport, accommodation, maintenance, cleaning, and leisure activities. However, despite the benefits outlined above, multinationals are sometimes criticized for their behavior. For example, many environmentalists are suspicious of multinationals because they may cause environmental damage. One reason is because multinationals are heavily involved in the extraction industries, such as coal, oil, and gold mining. Mining is often destructive. However, McDonald's is not likely to receive such criticism since it's not a mining company. Multinationals are sometimes accused for exploitation. For example, they may pay locals low wages. There is some evidence in this case, such as alleged exploitation. Recently, McDonald's has been attacked for paying its workers low wages. In 2014, it is reported that thousands of fast food workers around the world stopped work or held protests against McDonald's and other fast food suppliers. Employee action has been ongoing since 2012 in the USA, where workers are demanding US $15 per hour pay rates and the right to join a trade union. Indeed, around 200 workers went on strike in New York. Also in Brazil, McDonald's has encountered a trade union protest because of wage theft, poverty level pay, and poor treatment of pregnant workers. Protests against McDonald's were also seen in Japan and South Korea in 2014. However, all such exploitation may occur. Many multinationals have good records when developing business interests in less developed countries. Another possible disadvantage of attracting multinationals is the profit made by multinationals abroad are often repatriated. This means the profits are returned to the country where the multinational is based. As a result, the host country loses out. To conclude, many would argue that in this case, McDonald's, the benefits of multinational are greater than disadvantages. High incomes, new jobs, and rising tax revenue are an attractive proposition for many countries.
Yeah, many countries, and there's a small part is there also. Yeah, particularly developing countries, provided the activities of the multinationals are monitored. So it may be possible to minimize the disadvantage such as environmental damage and exploitation. Yes. So yeah, thank you. Mainly when you're writing a 12-mark question, right? When you're writing 12-mark question, follow this format, right? Mainly, right, when you're writing your first 12-mark question, 12 marker, right? So we can start with the definition, right? Normally, when you're writing a 12-mark question, you can start with the definition, right? In this case, you can talk about what is the definition. It can be the definition of multinational company, definition of anything, right? Any concept. Because 12 markers, it can come from different topics, from multinational company or privatization or whatever. It can be public limited company. Can be location decisions, like that. Different topics are there, possible topics for the 12 marker, and then there you can define the concept, and then after that you can talk about the two positives two positive points. For that is two advantages you can talk about. When you're writing an advantage, develop it with the 3 sentences. You can use a building pattern of BLT. Because of this will leads to therefore. Like that. Always don't write just one single sentence for this thing. Two positives mean at least you must write 6 sentences. At least you have to write in one advantage. You must have 3 sentences with the explanation. Write the advantage and explain with the application from the case study, and then give the analysis point also. And then 2 negatives. That is, you can start with the however point. In this case study also, however, you can see at the latter part of the answer. First of all, they talk about the advantage. Income level increase, the employment level will increase. The country can benefit from the tax revenue the given by the multinationals. They can enjoy from the tax revenue, which is generated like that. So multinational companies, those are 2 advantage: employment opportunities, government taxes, and give the advantage, give the supportive evidence from the case study, and then 2 however points. Right, in this answer also we can find out 2 however points. They talk about the exploitation of the labor, and they're giving enough evidence from the case study that the strikes went on USA, Japan, Hong Kong regarding the high increase the wage cost. And also the negatives. Another thing, even though they don't have an environmental damage or anything, extraction of the resources, but you can talk about how this will be impact on the local businesses. Sometimes infant businesses like small restaurant can't compete with the large multinational firms. Therefore, local industries will be going as a result of this. And give the conclusion at the end. Last point should be your especially conclusion, right? Conclusion, you can say that mainly, however, to conclude that thing, I'll go back to this is the main point. 12 mark in writing, definition, 2 positives, 2 negatives, and the conclusion. So I'll show these points from some of our case study. So here they talk about the multinationals advantages. Firstly, after the advantage like employment opportunities. They explain the employment opportunities they created by 1.8 million employment opportunities are there. They have created through multinational. This is the first paragraph. So they have a defined definition is important in this case, but definition not given here. But you can write a definition. When multinational like McDonald's locates operation in foreign country, introduction is important. You can say McDonald's is a multinational company. So they operate in 100 countries. Therefore, then you can see this is kind of like a knowledge part. Give some kind of feature of multinational. This case, They are giving, without defining, they are giving a feature of multinational. That's the knowledge part. They say it's a McDonald's, is a multinational company, locate operation in a foreign country. That country and its economy likely to be enjoy a number of benefits. Introduction part is important. And this include increase of employment. And then giving advantage, 1.8 million opportunities. And then giving employment opportunities, what happened to them as a result of that, increase the living standards, everything. And second one, another benefit will be government getting a tax income. Because this paragraph entire from here to here, they're giving tax benefit. So it's a one paragraph, second benefit, right? So and then they are giving some other advantage, the education and training, right? If you know more points, you can write, but mainly it's better if you can write maximum like a 2 or 3 points, but mainly this case they are, since it's a marking scheme, they are giving most like all available opportunities they are giving, but normally make sure when you're writing a 12 mark in examination, 2 is enough. Two paragraphs are enough, 2 benefits are enough when you're writing a 4 positive points. And when you talk about the negative side, you can start with the however. You can see however, this is a word that you can use to find out the opposite side of the case, the negative part from the multinationals. Despite benefit, there are disadvantages, criticisms. What are the criticisms? But this criticism, they say this criticism is not applying because it is not a mining company. This kind of answer you don't need to write exam, because why? Because you have to write the criticism which is applicable to the case study. So they are giving here environmental damage can be happen. That's a common thing. But McDonald's, they are not doing that much. You can say, okay, environmental damage coming from what? McDonald's sometimes causing environmental pollution through their wrapping paper bags, plastic, polythene bags. But I think right now they actually created everything for paper-based material. So as a result, I think the environmental pollution is minimum because they are not using that much of, always they're using paper-based material for their packaging, wrapping, bags, everything, paper bags only. So no polythene bags, zero polythene, zero emission. So like that, you can mention those things as well. And second accusation for this multinational is mainly the exploitation of the workers. So its evidence is there, supportive, much evidence is there. So you can talk about that. The rates, trade union, Brazil, McDonald encounter union problem, protest. Talk about these things, evidence. You can write there. And conclusion. So if you write the 2 paragraph again for the disadvantage, then you try to go for the conclusion. You can say to conclude. You can say overall. Right? Conclusion, you can say overall, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Right? Benefits of multinationals are greater than the disadvantages. Like high income, new job opportunities, tax revenue. Summarize the answer. Summarize your point again simply. The conclusion is like that. What conclusion is? You can talk about the conclusion. You say, okay, advantage outweigh the disadvantage. These are the advantages I have used, and these are the disadvantages I have used. Therefore, we can see advantages are very good. Therefore, multinational should be exist. And you can give some solution for the disadvantages. Even though there are some exploitation, even though there is some pollution, something, you can say, no, this can be monitored. This can be monitored by the government. So these are the even conclusion means you can provide the summary as well as a solution for your answer. If you identify some criticism for the multinational, then you can actually say it may be possible to minimize the disadvantages such as environmental damage and exploitation by monitoring. That's why we need the government, right? By monitoring process, thorough monitoring process, we can control the environmental damage and exploitation. This is how we have to write a 12-mark question nicely. So each and every point we are giving for you the marks, right? Knowledge, application, analysis, and evaluation. So in coming up exams, you have 12 markers are expected. So normally when you're writing this question, so today in my main session, in my lesson, actually, I mainly focusing on the multinational company, especially 12-mark question. So we discussed these 4 questions today. How multinational company is for use in the case study McDonald's. We use how this benefits the features of multinationals we discuss, how effective marketing campaigns help them we discuss, and we talk about thirdly, what are the benefits of McDonald's operating as a multinationals, and also we talk about assess the benefits to a country or economy when McDonald's locates outlets in the country. This is the lesson that we discussed today.